Hello, brethren and sisters, if you may be watching this. Thank you for tuning in to another dialogue of the raw, the real, and the red pill. And on this venue, I'll be speaking more so on a personal basis. Personal being of myself. I believe I'll be titling this video, The Making of the Red Pill Man. For I'll be speaking of different circumstances that I know many brothers can relate to. Different circumstances that changes us over from the fantasy world of the blue pill reality. Excuse me, the matrix of the blue pill man. Because surely it isn't reality at all. In creation and manifestation to the red pill man. I'll be speaking of my family. I've seen it firsthand. And as a man now, as an adult, I sometimes sit and reflect on certain things. The whys and the hows. And the what. The different aspects. From seeing things as a child to now being an adult. You see things with a different perspective. A different view. And I'll be speaking on a portion of my life when I watched the destruction and the separation of my own family as I know it. Now, before I get into it, what made me want to do this is because a lot of our sisters, which many of them aren't, but a lot of the black women in America use a lot of shaming tactics. And one of the ones that trigger me deeply is, your mama was black. Yes, she is. Your mother was black. Oh, you hate women. Not to get off topic, but this is what sparked my reflection. This thing I've been reflecting on day to day for years. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. Firstly, I would like to say, I love my mother dearly. She was a good mom, a good mother, a caring mother. She wasn't a ghetto woman. She isn't a loud, belligerent asshole of a woman like many of our women are these days. She's not a bitter acting woman. She's not the cliche of the black woman, the bias. She's not the bias. She was a country woman coming from the area of North Carolina, Winston-Salem. A gentle woman, a caring woman, an affectionate woman. That's why I would say that she was a good mom. So I know our sisters got potential. But before being a mom, or aside from being a mom, is responsibility in marital unions. I don't believe in state marriage. You're going to see why soon. But there's responsibilities that are set aside from being a mom that add perspective to how your children view things growing up into their adulthood, especially your sons. See, a lot of us MGTOW brothers and red pill brothers been through things to give us the perspective that we do have. We didn't wake up one day and say, oh, no, the hell with all women, and oh, we hate women, oh, they do this, they do. No. Despite the bias, despite what the world says, despite everything, a lot of the things that influence us to our ideology of non-traditionalism and patriarchy and dominance and freedom as men are from personal experiences. This is what these women don't understand. They just throw these shaming tactics like they don't understand that we see it. We didn't wake up and just feel how we felt one day. It was gradual. It was a combination of many different things. But I'm gonna get on into this. I have 3 sisters, an older, a twin, and a younger sister. I remember, I'm gonna go back as far back as I can remember. Around 3-4 years old, we grew up in a basement of a duplex apartment from Philippine people, from people from the Philippines, Tom and Han. I'll never forget them. I still remember them. They lived upstairs, we lived downstairs. We had a little kitchenette, a little Mickey Mouse plastic table, We didn't have much. Then, as a child, I didn't look at it like, we were poor, but, we didn't have much, My dad was always working. He was working overnight at a warehouse. And for the most part, most of my childhood was spent around my mother. Hence why I said, she was a good mom. She is a good mom. She's still here. She's still alive. Still will. As time progressed, my mother and father went on a business venture. My father started his own delivery company as a contractor. So he went and got him a passenger van, got the seats taken out of it. It was an old 80s model Dodge Ram van. Took the seats out of it. It was carpeted and everything. And he began moving office supplies for a company that him and my mother built. It started doing pretty well. We went from that basement apartment to a single family home, a Rambler. And everything seemed right, My mom, she is a professional student. At that time, I'm about 6'7" now. My little sister's a newborn. And my twin, of course, is the same age as me. My older sister's a year older. And I rarely saw my father at home. When I look back, he was never home. He was a hard-working man. Day and night. He ran his business. During the day and at night, he worked overnight. He took maybe 2 or 3 hours naps in between and kept pushing for over 20 years. For over 20 years. You understand? For a long time. During the summer on summer breaks, that's when I would spend the most time with my dad. He would have me come along to work with him. I had a good friend that I'm very still, I consider him a brother. A brother from a different mother, because I knew this cat since we was young. I was 7 years old I met him. We're still good friends to this day. I would bring him on with me, and my dad would pay us $100 a week. And, teach us how to load the carts, and we would make his deliveries. While he would, of course, drive and things of that nature. But aside from that, most of my memories of my dad will be walking into the room, which was highly contested against because Pops was always possibly sleeping if he was home. For a couple hours before, my mom would say, go wake your daddy up, 10 o'clock at night when I'm about to go to bed. Go wake your daddy up so you can go to work tonight. And I used to go in the room in reverence to my father and shake his shoulder. Dad, wake up. You gotta go to work. Mommy said go to work. This man was exhausted. Most of the time I see my father, he would be laying on his stomach with his arms folded in front of him, with his head planted in his arms. Yeah, that's most of my memories of my dad as a child, if he was home. So we moved from that house to a bigger house. I grew up with Ryder trucks and Penske trucks in my parents' driveway and in front of the house. Big box trucks, being that his contract started, getting more work from him. Started doing over more than $10,000 a month. Life was good. We used to go to Sam's Club, go grocery shopping. We used to grab 3 carts. We had 2 kitchens in this next house, My mother at the time was working on her profession. She's a teacher. At that time, she had her bachelor's. Oh, man, I remember when she was going to college. working on her bachelor's. And I remember her obtaining her master's. Around this time, she had already had her bachelor's and was obtaining her master's. We became homeless because on closing on the house, it was a rent-to-own property. The house with the 2 kitchens. I'm gonna get to it. I'm just trying to let y'all really feel out what's going on and how this was going. It was perfect unison, you know. My dad backed my mom while she was in school. Bought her a computer, you know, laptop, everything she needed, you know, was there, however he could be financially. But we wound up becoming homeless because on the rent-to-own property, when it was ready to settle on the house, long story short, an appraiser came and told the landlord that she was underselling the house, and the landlord backed out on some bullshit. It was a white woman. Her name is Anne Marie. She said, oh, her son is pregnant, and her son's wife is pregnant, and they need a place to stay, so she wouldn't settle on the house. And we all know it was about the money. So she gave us 30 days. We stayed with my aunt for about a month or 2, and then we wound up living in hotel rooms. Me, my 3 sisters, my mom and dad. So my parents been through the thick and thin. My father wound up pulling all his savings, his 401, his savings, retirement that he put away for himself, every penny he had, and put $20,000 down on the house. Another one, nice 2-level Rambler, decent place. And around this time, I'm about 12, 13 years old. My mother began working her PhD. And this is when I began to see problems in their relationship. Arguments behind closed doors. At this point, my mother, this is where we're about to get into the fuckery. At this point, my mother would stay late after school and, have powwows with other teachers, female teachers. I'm not going to say their names. But I remember them. They were nice to me. But now that I'm an adult, I look back and I see what it was. They were convincing my mom that, she didn't need a man anymore. You know? And it became so that on weekends, while my dad was working overnight and, doing his little work stuff early in the evening, she would leave with us and go look at apartments. For a year, I remember. For over a year, at least once a month, one day out the month, usually on the weekend, we'd be looking at apartments. You know? She was looking at apartments. Out of all my siblings, I was the only one to kind of tell my dad, like, hey, Dad, I just want to let you know, Mom's been going out looking at apartments, man. What's going on with y'all? I wasn't trying to snitch or nothing like that, but I was, a curious child. I love them both. I like, why, what's going on? My mother never up and said, I'm going to leave your dad. She was just taking all of us. We'll go to, get some food, something to eat. And, go look at these apartments. For over a year, my sister said nothing. She began usurping the authority over my father concerning things with my sisters. My father wanted good grades for cell phones, which just kind of was picking up in popularity at this point. The flip phones, the Nokias, the T-Mobile flip phones and stuff like that. My sister wanted one. I remember this argument. My sister wanted one, but her grades were really shitty. And my dad told my mother, don't get her this phone until she can prove that she can, bring home some good grades. Sister's crying. My mother sympathized and got her a phone anyway. So lo and behold, my sister didn't do good in school. She actually dropped out. Got her G, years later got her GED, but just, they got in an argument over this, and the police were called. My dad's never been a womanizer. He's never been a cheater, for a so-called cheater, He was a very dominant man. He never folded in his ways. Oh man, looking back at this. The police came. My mom said, oh, he put a book to my head in the beginning of an argument and he smooched my mom. My mom was reading a book while my dad was leaning on her, instructing her and chastising her, and my mother was ignoring him reading a book. So my dad flipped the book up in her face and smooshed her. You know, nothing more to say. That's what happened. The police pretty much saw that the title to the home, the deed to the house was in his name, and they walked out laughing. And the whole time I'm sitting in the living room like, why's my mom? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm like 14, you know? My dad always drove a cargo van. He hauled us around, and sometimes when we missed the bus, or because my mom was a teacher and also working on a PhD, my dad would haul all of us in an empty cargo van. We would sit on the floor in the back of it. And he went to my mother and wanted to, you know, purchase a new vehicle, a minivan or SUV of some sort. My mother said she didn't want any parts of it, no responsibility of it, no accountability for it. So she declined. One day, I walked out to the driveway and it was a brand new Honda Ridgeline. This is around 06 when they first came out. It was 06 and he had an 07. Maybe about 30 miles on it. That, I believe, was the straw that broke the camel's back. At this point, one day, about a year later after that, one day my father was at work. I used to hang out with my best friend I was telling you about. I knew since I was little. His mom, rest her soul, was like a mother to me. I used to spend weeks at his house, you know, at her house, you know, with my friend. At this point in time in my life, I didn't like being at home like that. You know, I'm a young teenager, want to hang around other fellas, you know, play football, get on the Madden, on the PS2, you know, wanted to kick it like that. So I removed myself from the home, primarily on weekends and things like that. And then one particular day, man, there's so much more to this story. One particular day, my mother called me and told me that she needed help moving some stuff out the house. I'm like, Mom, you sure you want to do this? I mean, why? You know, I'm a young man though, you know, at this point. Teenager, actually. Thought nothing of it. Came over, helped my mom load half of everything that was in the house onto the U-Haul while my father was at work. When we was getting towards the end of the loading, the truck, my father actually pulled up. He pulled up to the house, and the pain I saw on my father's face as he looked at my mother, and the anger and pain, I saw it in his eyes. As we drove down the street in the U-Haul, him standing in the middle of the street just looking, damn, my wife just left me. Then came the child support case. Watched my dad get destroyed, y'all. He eventually had to sell that Honda. He eventually got underbidded on his contracts and lost his USDA and his PTO contract. It was just working overnights. Shortly after, the housing market crashed. His mortgage damn near doubled. Meanwhile, my mother was trying to get a divorce, but the courts wouldn't give it to her. And lo and behold, this is what I was saying earlier, but there's so much more to this story. You know, I'm kind of just cruising through it. But what made me a red pill man? One of the things, I done been through incarceration over the lives of a woman. I done been through a lot of other stuff, and I'm gonna make a video for everything that I can remember that caused my indignation against the black woman. I will, man, for real. As an adult looking back at this, man. But this is the thing that was tricky. My best friend, his mom, was going to court contesting against my father when my father was friends with this woman years before my mother ever met her. My dad used to take me over to my friend's house, my buddy's house, and my buddy's mom was a widow. My friend lost his dad when we was in the 5th grade. He died. And my dad would drop me off, and him and his mother would have powwows, man, hours long, before he would depart and go back home. And fast forward 5 to 6 years, for the sake of sisterhood, that same woman, my best friend's mom, was in the stands contesting against my dad for the sake of my mom, to leave him. All her co-workers in her ear. An educated woman, a professional student. So, looking back at this, I feel kind of bad. But my mom offered for me to move in with her in this 3-bedroom apartment. I was 15 around the time. 16-ish. Maybe not 16. And I moved in with her. I didn't see a penny in child support. I was working. I had bought a car. At this point, I wasn't doing too good in school. You know, I wound up dropping out. I used to go to school just to, you know, smoke weed, find some hoes, and, you know, I was really misguided at this point in my life. I didn't have no direction, you know? My father tried. He taught me a lot of lessons that I didn't view as lessons at the time. Now that I'm older, I respect him even more for it. Never saw child support. I was working. Bought my own food, bought my own clothes. I was wearing Bathing Ape, Baby Milo. You know, all this stuff was cool then. You know, it just came out. I was spending money. Mitchell & Ness, Hardwood Classics, classic swing, classic jerseys. Like, you know, that was the style around this time. You know, I was fresh, had my own car, Grandma Keith's. You know, working hard. I always been a hard worker. I always saw my dad as a hard worker. You know, really looking back, one of the restaurants I worked for was violating child labor laws. I was doing overtime at that age. But, you know, back on topic. I started approaching the age of 18, going on 17, 18. My mother decided to move, and she actually got one less bedroom. She didn't kick me out. But hindsight 2020, that's pretty much what happened because the child support was ended. So she wanted to nurture and be a mom to my sisters, whom are very, very close to her to this day. Me, I love my mom. You know, I do. I love my mom. She's a good mom, but, you know, I'm not a mama's boy. I can go 6 months to a year without speaking to my mom, and it doesn't bother me. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. You know, no news is good news. If she's sick or in the hospital, I'll be there. I'm your son. I honor you as your son. But I lost a lot of respect over that. I lost a lot of respect over that for my mom. Even though she's my mother. That's when I realized that marriage didn't mean shit. I was very young, getting force-fed the red pill from first-hand experience. So, I moved back in with my dad to this hollow house. Utilities getting cut off. First, it was the gas. It was the winter. My dad began explaining to me that times were very tough. And he started giving me his side of what was going on. So I got to see I got to hear my mother's plea, and I got to hear my dad's plea. And Mia, as a judge, as my own judge of the situation, in my opinion, she was dead wrong. Dead wrong. Took that oath. You know? Most women try to dupe guys into divorce through issues of monogamy. Like, they'll not have sex with you and then, like, they'll not have sex with you and then fuck with you. And then argue with you. And then nag you and frustrate you. Not give you no ass. hoping that you can go out there, go have sex with another woman, get caught, and then leave you for it and blame it back on you. The woman is the accuser of man. Do you know who else the accuser of man is? Who sets up chaotic situations and sets up very conniving situations and then blame you for it? Satan. Peep gang. I think that's where she got it from. It's like embedded in her. They're always the victim. They always swing perspective to someone else. Usually a man, always a man, you know? But I moved back with my dad, and first it was the gas. I used to boil water and wash up in the sink because the gas was off. There was no hot water. We was getting sheriff letters on the door behind that balloon payment on the mortgage. You know? Then it was the electric. I used to get off work and call my dad to pick me up from work, and this is one of the lessons he taught me without saying anything. I would call him, working about a mile away from the house. Get off work around midnight, missed the last bus. I was a dishwasher at Outback Steakhouse at this time. And I would call my dad, and he wouldn't answer the phone. And I would walk home. I would stop at 7-Eleven and get a starter log, because there was a fireplace in the basement in which I was renting out from him for $400 a month. To help. I sat and witnessed the destruction that a woman can do to a man, especially one that she has claimed she loves. Now when I look at the wedding pictures of my mother and father, I used to always look at them as a child, but now I look at them now, I look at their eyes, I look at the look on my mother's face, and I look at the look on my dad's face, and I love my father. I honor my father. I respect my father. I hold him to high regard no matter what anyone says about him. But sorry to say, when I look at that wedding picture, I see a simp. As an adult, that's what I see. And I don't want to be there. You know? Electric off, gas off. Freezing. January, February. Then finally the water got cut. Started going over friends' houses and trying to wash up at their house, take showers over their houses. Cause they, you know, I don't know why, but all my male friends, mothers, have been like, it's like they try to take a motherly role on me too. So they'll extend their home to me. As a child growing up, I don't know. I'm not even gonna get into that. But you know, I was taking showers over friends' houses, and you know, things got really bad. You know. And then the 30-day notice came. Dad was trying. He tried, but it all fell away. It all fell away. This was my envisionment firsthand of the red pill. Firsthand. My father is a good man, but he's utterly destroyed. Low. He's hit the bottom. He has had 3 strokes. 3 strokes since then. This is 12, 13 years later. He has had 3 strokes. 3 strokes. And I look at this man, and I know what caused him. I understand why. I understand why. None of my sisters revere my father, really. All of them, you know, everybody picks sides. All of them have picked the side of my mother. You know? None of them were there. None of them were there to see the destruction, to see the struggle, to see the destruction that this ordeal has caused from the man who they come from his seed. And they really kind of don't care. You know? His child support is paid up. But now, it seems as though he's not even the same man anymore. He has no more drive. He has no more zeal. He has no more youth. He has no more wantingness to do better. He is not even the same man anymore. Not in so many ways, hygiene-wise, just in a lot of ways. Hit the bottom. Staying with his sister. Staying with his little sister, man. Sharing a room with his nephew. Bought destroyed, man. Not even bought low. Utterly destroyed, man. Behind the actions and decisions of a woman. I will not get married because of this. So when I hear that, your mama black, yeah, bitch, she is. And that's why one of the reasons why I have the perceptions that I have. Just one of them. I have about 15, 20 stories from incarceration to vandalism of my property to a lot of, man, to one female even cheating on me in the midst of all this that was going on while I was trying to be there for my dad as an 18-year-old young man. Trying to be there for my dad. Was sleeping around on me. The bitch caught herpes, yo. Her friend who hooked us up, I knew her friend very well. A female, good friend of mine that I don't talk to that much these days, but always forever a good friend. Never been a sexual thing between me and her. She hooked us up. And she's the one who told me, don't sleep with that girl no more. She's messing with another guy who got a car. Who's selling drugs. A thug. And lo and behold, this bitch said that was sleeping around on me. Didn't think I knew. I didn't approach her about it. I just stopped fucking her. You know, I never date within a circle, a friend circle anymore, because you can't really dodge the person you don't want to talk to anymore. I just stopped fucking her and just carried it accordingly. This woman pulled out one of my dreadlocks. It actually messed up my headline a little bit. It's coming back. You know, I'm like 19 at this point. You know, pulled out one of my dreadlocks because she wanted me to go down on her. 2 weeks later, and I didn't. I did it. I don't know why, but in my nature, I was a man. I was a young, dumb, full of cum man, but I was a man then, because I would not settle for sloppy seconds. I would not settle for a whore. I wouldn't lay down with the woman who was with another man. It was embedded in me, for I'm the seed of my father. A stern man. A man who has uncompromisable principles. And Black Ram 313 has made a video on. And it was a great damn video, man. It was a great video. But this is true. 2 weeks later, my friend and her will go into the emergency room because that same bitch caught herpes and she couldn't walk. And just to think, had I been a fucking simp to this lying bitch, she never even admitted to it to this day. I just know it. You know what I'm saying? Fucking bitches. They wicked, man. They're liars, yo. I got a story on my... Man, I got a lot of them, but you know, I'm going to end this one. That's just the destruction of a family structure. A destruction of a family structure. My daddy didn't walk out. My mama did. I don't know how many other brothers can relate to that. A lot of brothers never had the chance to have a father in the house. Some of them don't even know who their fathers are. Some of y'all mothers don't even know who your fathers are. And it's not your father's fault. I'm here to tell you not to believe everything at face value that your mom tells you about your dad. Because as you get older, you start dealing with these women, you start seeing a lot of them as hoes, man. And, you know, that might be your mother, you might love her, but you still got to keep righteous judgment as a man and call things how they are. Love your mom, honor your mother, that your days may be long on this earth, but learn from her ways about the opposite sex. And that's honestly what her role is as a mom. Incoherently, that is. And you're going to learn some bad things if you pay attention. Well, shalom, brothers and sisters. This is just one of many. Thank you for tuning in to The Raw, The Real, The Red Pill.